All right, let's talk about something nobody ever tells you. Your 50s. It's an absolute prime decade of your life. And now is the time where you really should come alive, embrace this decade, and do everything that you ever told yourself you would do in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. Because I needn't remind you, guys, we are running out of time. Pull the trigger. Go. Strike now. Do it. Don't wait around. Enjoy your 50s. And in this video, I'm going to take you through 7 steps that will help you enjoy, embrace, and fully love this decade. It's quite literally the best decade of your life so far. So forget about the doom and gloom of getting older. Your 50s are a golden era, and I'm here to tell you why. So grab a cup of tea, coffee, or maybe something a little stronger. It's time to celebrate this incredible decade of your life. Number 1 on my list of 7 is, and it's a big one, you've officially stopped giving a about what people think. In other words, you stop caring about what others think about you. Now, I mean that in the best way possible. You know, when you're younger, you spend most of your life worrying about what people think, how people judge you. Do they like me? Am I coming across well? But as you get older, that no longer matters anymore. And it's only when you really get into your late 40s, early 50s, when you can just disregard that and start living life on your terms. I enjoy every now and then singing on karaoke. Can I sing? Not really. Do I care if nobody likes the way I sing? Not at all, no. As long as I'm enjoying myself and having a good time, that's what counts. And nobody is going to judge you for it, believe me. If you put yourself out there and have fun, people will generally have fun with you, or maybe at your expense. One of the two. Now, psychologists call this the liberation phase, where self-consciousness gives way to self-acceptance. Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development suggests that by midlife we reach a stage of generativity versus stagnation, meaning that we prioritize fulfillment over external validation. Translation, please, Alice? Meaning we no longer sweat the small stuff and we start living life for ourselves on our own terms. Number 2, you're financially smarter. Open bracket, even if you're not rich, close bracket. I'm not rich, but I am financially smarter. I'm financially aware that I don't necessarily have the money that I want to have at this stage of my life, but I'm making inroads to work towards that financial plan that will give me financial freedom as I now chart this course through my 50s, through this decade. And the 50s is probably the decade of your life where you do become aware a lot more of your finances than ever before. 20s, 30s, 40s, not so much. You rattle through those decades with not much of a care about spending money on a night out, going out, spending £100, £150. You don't bat an eyelid. As you get a bit older, you become a little bit more frugal about your spending, which ultimately means that you've got money. You're putting money away for a rainy day. You are thinking about the bigger picture. And in your 50s, the bigger picture has finally arrived. Look, I'm not saying that we're all swimming in money like Scrooge McDuck, but by your 50s, you've probably figured out that a £5 latte every single day does add up. You know how to budget, you've made and hopefully recovered from financial mistakes, and you've got a better grip on your money than you did in your 20s when, let's face it, payday meant blowing half of your salary on a night out. Studies have shown that financial literacy does improve with age. A report by the Financial Industry Regulation Authority, FINRA, found that financial decision-making peaks in middle age, meaning that in your 50s is when you make some of your best money moves. Whether it's paying off your mortgage, investing wisely, or knowing not to fall for a particular email scam, then congratulations, because you are winning. Number 3, and I keep coming back on this one, but by now in your 50s, you have definitely mastered the art of saying nope. In your 20s, people-pleasing mode was firmly activated. In your 30s, you're starting to figure out boundaries. And in your 40s, you're testing those boundaries. But in your 50s, nope, not happening. Not my problem. And you know what? It feels fantastic. Sociologist Dr. Brené Brown talks about the power of boundaries and how they're really important for self-respect. Now, by your 50s, you've mastered the fine art of saying no without guilt, because you finally get that your time is precious. The number 4 thing on my list why your 50s are the best decade yet of your life is that your social circle is now much smaller than it ever was. And that's okay. Now, your social circle might be smaller, but believe me, it's much stronger. And the ties that bind are much, much tighter. Now, do you remember when you were in your 20s and you had a million friends? And half of them you just tolerated because, I don't know, maybe they had a car and a cassette deck. Remember them? But in your 50s, you've trimmed the fat. You've got a solid, dependable crew who genuinely care about you. And that's worth more than 200 flaky acquaintances. Harvard University's 75-year study on happiness found that strong relationships are the biggest predictor of long-term happiness. Quality over quantity, folks. By this stage in your life, you know who your friends are, and those relationships are solid gold. Number 5, you've stopped chasing trends and you just do you. You're no longer trying to keep up with whatever the latest TikTok trend is that the kids are doing this week. You know what you like and you know what works for you, and that is good by you. And to be honest, you have zero shame in rocking it. Cargo shorts, love them. Movie-based t-shirts, absolutely love them. You want to wear them? Wear them. Don't care about what anybody thinks. Because let's be honest, most people are not even thinking anyway. So don't worry about external judgment and external validation. If you want to wear a Jurassic Park t-shirt, a Coldplay t-shirt, whatever it is that you want to rock, in your 50s is the decade when it's time to do it. This is called identity consolidation. By now, you've formed a strong sense of self, or well, you should have, and that means less time worrying about trends and more time doing what genuinely makes you happy. This hat, this zany beanie that I wear, it doesn't go with 99% of every item of clothing I wear. Yeah, I love it. It's me, it's my personality, and it's also got a sentimental value because I've worn it on about 4 Himalayan trips, including on Everest. Do I care if it doesn't match the t-shirt I'm wearing? Not a jot. Will I still wear it? Absolutely. Do my daughters shake their head at me? Yes. Is that a dad's job? To embarrass their daughters? Probably. Number 6, you actually enjoy your own company at last. Now, your 20s and 30s, if you were like me, were probably all about FOMO, that fear of missing out. And now you're in your 50s, you've embraced JOMO, the joy of missing out. You're perfectly content spending time alone, reading, walking outside, doing other things alone inside, just sitting quietly without feeling like you should be doing something. It's priceless. And your 50s is the decade when you can do this guilt-free. Now, I'm putting a lot of psychological theory into this today because it backs up everything that I'm saying. Psychologists say that as we age, we shift from social expansion to emotional regulation. Some big words for you there. Meaning that we choose activities that bring genuine satisfaction rather than ones driven by social obligation. It's self-care at its finest. And finally, my number 7 for why your 50s should be your best decade yet. You finally realize that life is short, so you truly start living. If there's one thing that your 50s teaches you, it's that life is not endless. You start embracing adventure more, start taking those trips that you've always talked about, and doing things because they matter, not because you should. Again, psychologists, they call this the bucket list effect. Studies show that people in midlife experience a surge in goal-setting behaviours, realising that now is the time to start living their dreams. And honestly, that's probably the best part of being in your 50s. So there you have it, your 50s. Absolute gold. You're wiser, freer, and living life more on your own terms. Now, if that's not something to celebrate, I don't know what is. If you're in your 50s, now tell me, what's been the best part of this decade for you so far? Drop it in the comments. And if you're not quite there yet, well, it's something to look forward to, isn't it? So please like this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to, and possibly share this with somebody who might need a reminder that their 50s are there to be lived. And if you're not in your 50s yet, believe me, the best is yet to come. I'll see you on another video. Keep wondering and keep wondering. So with that said, psychologists say that as we age... Oh! Bloody hell. Come on, Ellis. This psychology stuff is so hard to get right. Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial... No, Erik Erikson's... Erik Erikson's... I can't say Erik Erikson. He's a psychologist. God, Bennett. He did this psychosocial research, which I'm trying to tell you about.